Lavar Ball is championing his son to be the next coming of Jesus Christ. No disrespect. But he was championing him to be like the next version of Kobe, Magic, anybody's name that you could possibly name. Looking at Lonzo Ball on the court, you know, the first game he had a terrible game with like 2 for 15. Second game he had a triple-double. Everybody was like applauding him. And I was just like, okay, we're applauding somebody for getting a triple-double and a loss. Now, some people will be like, well, you know, we applauded LeBron James for getting a triple-double. I, for one, you get a triple-double, if you still lose, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean if you have 50 points, 100 points, or, you know, whatever, it's really nice to say, yeah, I had this in the game. I had 50 points in the game, we lost. Like, nobody cares about that. Even like with Michael Jordan's 63-point game in the playoffs and the double overtime, you know, I believe his team lost. So it's just like, okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people, they put emphasis on individual goals when it's a team game. So it's kind of backwards. It's kind of like backwards. Only time you really should be putting emphasis on what a player does is if he's like the best player. He's the best player on his team, of course, but he doesn't have any kind of star, nothing. Like, he's just like playing with a bunch of Joe Schmoes. Like, when LeBron got a triple-double and he has Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving on his team, it's like, yeah, there's kind of a reason why you got a triple-double. The guys knock down shots. You have some of the best players in the game, and you're great, and this is what you're supposed to do. So it's more to life than a triple-double. Like, and it's kind of weird because it's like, well, we gave Russell Westbrook the MVP for getting triple-doubles. No. In my opinion, the triple-doubles was like the icing on the cake. He did have a triple-double. I felt like, you know, what he did was tremendous, breaking records, tremendous. The reason why I felt like he deserved MVP was for the simple fact that he was basically surrounded by nothing. It was a team that wasn't even meant to make it to the playoffs. They go to the playoffs, win one game in the series. He's averaged a triple-double, but he didn't get swept, which was remarkable within its own. There's so many factors, but back to Lonzo. This whole triple-doubles conversation, it could go on and on and on because some people feel like it counts for so much. But honestly, the only thing that matters is if you win the game. Like, and that's how it's been played for many, many years. That's how it's going to consistently be played. If you win the game. And back to Russell Westbrook, the reason why he was rewarded the MVP is not only the triple-doubles, his team was able to win games. You know what I'm saying? It's remarkable. Losing your star, losing another star, Serge Ibaka, you're able to win games. Come on now. You have one of the worst teams since Iverson. But anyway, back to Lonzo. I feel, my thoughts on Lonzo are this. Like, he's being overhyped. And it's not just his father. Like, I feel like Magic is kind of drinking a little bit of the Kool-Aid. And Lonzo's he's a good basketball player. I feel like his game is more mature than a lot of guys in the league. But when I'm watching the summer league, some of these guys, Dennis Smith Jr., you know what I'm saying, Bell on the Warriors, De'Aaron Fox, there's a lot of guys that haven't even been really like publicized. You know, Jason Tatum, a lot of guys that people aren't even like really up on in summer league. They're really showing you like, we can play 27 and 11, we can play, you know what I'm saying, 27 points, 11 rebounds, we can play 20, 25, 8 and 6, we can play. Like, that's Dennis Smith status. Like, a lot of these guys can play, and I feel like the small sample size we got from Lonzo, we know that you can play, but the hype that is around him is kind of scary because he's going to LA, a huge market where they don't play that. They don't play no crying. They don't play that, you know, it takes time to build. You know, they want you to come in and be a leader right away. You're getting compared to Kobe, Shaq, Elgin Baylor. You're getting compared to Jerry West. You're getting compared to some of the greatest of all time. So you can't come in there with like, I'm trying to push a brand. And I felt like that first game, what kind of overtook Lonzo was like, he was like, all right, I'm trying to push this brand. The second game, he cut all that out. He stopped social media, et cetera, et cetera. He even said himself, he just kind of locked in on the next game, and that's why he played so much better, because he saw like, okay, this ain't sweet out here. It's not sweet out here. I gotta come with it. So the jury's out on him. Like it's yet to be seen, because the thing was with D'Angelo Russell, I liked watching him in college, but then when he got to the league, I felt like his maturity, his game was somewhat there, but his maturity, his leadership, and some of the things he was doing on and off the court really detracted from his game. I feel like he could have been way better in LA than he was, but then they moved him. So that being said, now you got Lonzo Ball, who's kind of in the same boat, like, because now not only are they projecting you to be such a great player, and he's a great passer. I love the way he passes the ball. I love the way he's unselfish. So, but now they're championing you as like a Magic Johnson, a next Kobe Bryant, one of the best. You're gonna be the best point guard, and that's coming from the best point guard ever to play the game, Magic Johnson. So you got to come with it. So the jury's out. It's really like it's D League. It's not D League, but you know what I'm saying. Like a lot of guys are just looking for a job, so that's why they're there. So he hasn't faced that real competition yet. When he faces real competition, we'll come back and talk and deliberate. But as far as Lavar Ball, him championing his son, him pushing the brand, them selling their sneakers for $500, selling some slides for $200. You know what? You know what I say about that? You know what I feel about that? Bravo. Bravo. There are too many people that are like really timid in life. They don't want to say that they're great at something. They just want to be jerks. They just want to be a-holes, quote unquote, because you're not putting anything out. You're not making any sneakers. You're not pushing your own brand, but you have a lot of nerve to criticize a guy that, he's been in his kid's life. He has 3 sons, which is remarkable in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys having daughters. I have a daughter. I have daughters. You know what I'm saying? He's in his son's life. Didn't run. He pushed them to do something positive. Now they're bearing the fruits of their labor. He's selling his sneakers for $500 and some slides for $200. Don't buy it if you don't like it. Don't try to knock the next man's hustle, because what he's doing is something positive in his community. He's showing fathers and sons like, hey, if you guys believe in yourself, you guys work together. You guys can not only work together in coaching, you can work together in business, and you can work together as a family to create something. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's just like there's a method to his madness. Like the reason why he's so adamant about pushing his brand is because he knows that if he's not his biggest cheerleader, who's gonna be his biggest cheerleader? Nobody's gonna champion himself or his sons like he will. He basically created a hype campaign for the Lakers to draft Lonzo Ball, and it worked. So you necessarily can't be mad about that. You can be upset about some of the outlandish things he says, but that's your fault for falling into the trap, because here's the thing. We all know Lonzo Ball's not better than Magic Johnson. We all know Lonzo Ball most likely will not be better than Stephen Curry. But when LaVar Ball is saying these things and you guys are eating them up, sound bites and stuff like that, now he's creating a platform for himself, and he has attention. And attention is the new currency today in these days. And that being said, he's getting all the currency because he can say that. Now he's sliding in his brand. Now you want to check out a sneaker. Everybody's saying the sneakers are ugly, but now you want to go Google them online. Now some people might say it's ugly, but like if you're a Laker fan, you might just buy a pair of Lonzo Ball sneakers just because. Now you know what I'm saying? Now stock is rising. His son's stock is rising because he's saying outlandish things. While this can hurt his son on the court, mentally it could possibly hurt their sons and their legacy and stuff like that. This is all great for business. Like, you should watch what LaVar Ball is doing and you should try to like recreate it. And I mean this in the most sincerest way, because at the end of the day, he's on ESPN. He has his sons on magazines. He has his son in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So like, where's your son? And I'm just speaking frankly, like, you know, if your son is a doctor, your son is a lawyer, congratulations, excellent. But at the end of the day, you can't necessarily knock somebody's entrepreneurial spirit. And the thing is, you don't understand it. You don't understand where he's coming from. He's coming from, well, I want my whole family to be great. And when would you ever hate? Like, if it was you, if you weren't on the other end, maybe you don't say some of the things he says, but you're gonna push for your family just as much. I mean, day in and day out, you have people that work 2 and 3 jobs. That's pushing their family. He's pushing his family in a different way, where 24/7 he has a mic in his face, and he's gonna say what he wants to say about his family to elevate them and to push them to newer heights. So that's something about Lavar. Like, do I like Lavar Ball? No, I don't like him, but I like what he's doing. Because think about this as well. He's selling his son's sneakers for $500. He's not catering to, you know, the people in the hood or et cetera, but maybe he is. Because here's the thing. Kids buy $300 pair of LeBrons, $350 pair of Jordans. In New York, and like, you know, they got Flight Club and stuff like that. They sell the original Jordans for $500, $700. You know, they auction off sneakers for $1,200, $1,500. So he's not necessarily catering to the poor. Maybe he's catering more to the middle class, catering to the wealthy as well. But he's just catering to whoever wants to buy. He has something to sell, and he's just catering to those who want to buy. And that's the best thing. That's the best thing. Like, what he's doing is great. Because if he sells like 100 sneakers, what's that? Let's get the calculator right now. I'm just curious to know right now, because let's just do the math. He's selling his son's sneakers for $500. Now, mind you, this is being done basically independently, which is another thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't knock an independent hustler. You know what I'm saying? Like Jay-Z, that's how he started, independently. And then he grew to be who he was, Jay-Z. But before, selling records out of his trunk. Master P, the same thing. You can't necessarily knock these guys before you understand the method to the madness. He sells 100 pairs of sneakers. That's 50 grand. Let's just say, by chance, big baller brand, they get, you know, he has big games, and he sells, let's just say he sells 10,000 pairs of sneakers. That's $5 million. Do you think there's 10,000 kids who want a pair of his sneakers that are fans of him? Of course. Of course. Of course. So you can't necessarily hate on him, man. Like, Louis Vuitton sells sneakers for $500. Gucci sells sneakers for $2,000 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Gucci slides $350. You know what I'm saying? Some Gucci shoes $500. So you see perceived value in Gucci, Louis, etc., etc. So you buy it. Lavar Ball is saying, I see value in myself. I see value in my son. That's why we're selling our shoes for $500. So it's all about perceived value. And that's one thing I want you guys to take away from the Ball, Lonzo Ball family or whatever. You know, Lonzo, jury's still out, but I think he's going to be a solid player. Lavar Ball, very brash, very almost like Donald Trump-esque or whatever. Like, I mean, not with the racism, but just like the braggadocious, brash, but savvy businessman. Kudos to him, because at the end of the day, if Lonzo Ball does a great job, his stock rises, his sneakers, it's gonna fly off the shelf, man. And the way that they're distributing it is basically through themselves. Go through the website or whatever. If they sell 10,000, if they sell 100,000, let's say sell 100,000 sneakers at $500, 100,000, let's say 100,000 sneakers. That's $50 million. That's $50 million with no Nike endorsement, none of that. So all the money in their pocket. So So I feel like people need to understand the method to the madness. I feel like you just because you can't you refuse to pay for it doesn't mean somebody else will not. And I know, here's the thing, I've seen parents pay $200, $300, $250 for a pair of sneakers, some Jordans, and not pay their light bill. So as long as there's people out there that are like that, that's who he's gonna cater to. That's how he's gonna make his money. Understand the math, man. Understand the business. So get business minded. Market yourself. Don't hate on others. Don't hate on the Ball family because they balling. Because this is a dream. Can you imagine if you had a son or a daughter, they play for a team that you said, I'm gonna get you to play for. You have merchandise for them. Like that truly is the American dream right there. To have your family, everybody's making money. Like the Waltons, everybody making money. Like stuff like that. That's to me, that's the dream. Everybody in your family getting money. Like even like the Kardashians, they can't juggle, they can't like sing or nothing, but everybody in their family is getting money. Now that is the American dream right there. This is Vlad Hoops Junction with Hoops Meets Hoopla. Peace.